So we've now got our subframe just wobbling around like a floppy gopher. I don't know why I'm using that word so much, or a series of words. So, using a crane. Using a crane's not ideal. So it's kind of...
What the hell was that?
I had some cough-holes. Don't embarrass me in front of my internet friends. So, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We're hopping right into the BMW 335i rebuild. Just picked out my fantastic coffee that tastes terrible. It tastes like nothing, actually. It doesn't exist. Also, it's got a paper straw. Let me complain about this for a second. In about 20 seconds, this paper straw is going to be one with the coffee. They just melt. They fall apart. So I sure hope those sea turtles understand the sacrifice I make every day I get a coffee. So anyway, guys, last night I went there. I blasted the bottom of the BMW off as good as I could to get as much of that oil off. So hopefully we don't have a moist surprise waiting for us. So let's get there, start ripping it apart. I think we got our coolant flange ready to pop in, and then we're pretty much ready to drop the subframe. So again, this is for the oil pan gasket. Hoping that's the issue, but the guys we bought the car off of may not be the most trustworthy and didn't do things at all up to BMW standards or even any kind of standards. So let's see what surprises we have waiting for us. Let's hop into it, boys. So had to cut the band. That's previously broken, but now off. That's one of the other chunks to that. Now we have a clean hose for the new fitting. Wow. So that's the before that's broken on both ends. Snapped pieces. It's the after, $20 fix. Hucker in there. Hopefully I'll seal this system up.
Again.
And we're not going to be changing a $600 water pump here in Canadian peso land. So bang her in, see what happens. Alright guys, so got the fan out, got some goodies out here. Next we're going to have to take off this plastic cowling. It's pretty simple. We got some 8 mils to knock off on the filter, take off the end caps. I believe this metal tray is all 8 mils on the sides. Pop this out since it's broken. We got a harness to disconnect, intake to pop off, and then some hoses. It's probably as far as we're going to get today. It's starting to get a little dark, so I got to use a light. So let's get right into her, start tearing stuff apart, and then the next couple days we got to play down here. So I hosed her off as good as I could. Made some notes on some things that need to be replaced. It definitely needs an alignment, needs some tires. We got plans for that, so start ripping and tearing, drain some oil maybe, and we'll get at her. This literally had no bolts holding it in. That's terrifying.
I think somebody took it out and did it.
Yeah, that's exactly what that means. That filters all the air that goes inside of the car.
That's ridiculous.
Huh. Well, I mean, that saves a lot of time, but that's...
What are you doing now? Taking it all off?
I'm shocked at that. Alright guys, so we are pretty much torn down here as far as I'm going to go today. It is getting dark and cold. So, I can't get over it. I think this car has been a front end collision. It's got a few paint chips. Aftermarket headlights are in rough shape. Scuffs and chips and paint cracks, things, bad things throughout. New grills, so kind of hinting towards an accident. Some cracking here, so I think that's not ideal. Nothing super structural though. All looks pretty much okay. So for the most part, I think it just got into a bonk. Other than that, it's good news. Things I want to replace anyway. The air filter up here, the cowling, absolutely nothing had screws, so kind of, you know, piecing together a CD past. There's still chunks of belt you can see every now and then, so again, more concerning things. She's a little crusty, but that's the oil pan gasket we're kind of getting to, so we should have room now if we have to lift the engine up. But like I said, that's as far as we're going to get today, so my next day off, we'll hop right back into it and see how far we can get, I guess. We might have to start crawling underneath and draining oil, but we're getting there. Got a trunk full of parts. That was hard to say. Trunk full of parts. But, you know, progress, so just keep at her. Looks like they did a valve cover gasket. Didn't do a very good job on the valve cover gasket, but whatever. Things we can work on. So, go place an order for some more parts so we get here in time. I'll pick up next time I can work on this thing, and we can carry on, see how far we get then. Alright guys, we're hopping back into it. I got a little excited and carried away, but basically what I did, disconnected the front charge pipe, had to use some channel locks to get her to twist. Finished taking off the 2 Torx on the front of this charge pipe so I can get it out of the way, and now we're going to loosen off the tensioner here, remove the belt, which is pretty much glued to the pulley with oil, so that's super not ideal. And then once we get that all off, I'm going to take the tensioner off, probably clean some pulleys up, do all that off camera, and then we get to crawl underneath and start taking off some braces, motor mounts, stuff like that. So jump right into her and hopefully get her pretty close to being ready to hoist up here. So let's get to her. Alright guys, so it is bloody cold out. It did just snow. Now it's getting sunny, but oof. So we're starting to take off some belt components and pulling some chunk of belt out of my alternator. That's a good sign. Let's put that with the rest of the belt. Oh my god. So suddenly it's not such a good deal. I got this for $4 grand. Now obviously my main concern is the front main seal here, so I have no idea how I'm going to see in there. Ideally I'm not going to have to pull off the front pulley. When we take off the oil pan, I'll be able to see if it chewed up some seal or serpentine material, but I did clean this really good, as you can tell. The whole thing used to look like that, and now I gotta do it again. So it's a good thing we're making room. Eventually I'm gonna need a new alternator. I have to get a new power steering pump. AC was a little finicky the 20 minutes I drove it, so maybe one of those down the road. That was leaking something. Until then though, we crawl under. We're gonna throw this on jack stands so I can get up a little higher and prepare to drop the subframe for the next day. Again, I only get like an hour a day to work on this thing, so it bit me. I hurt, but we're making progress, so I'm gonna do a little bit of work. So I'm gonna do a little bit of work off camera here, and I'll catch you guys probably the next day, and we're gonna start doing under vehicle work. Hopefully it's not snowy and wet, but no promises, or else I probably won't film. So I'll pick you guys up in a couple days here when I can make some real progress and we get closer to doing an oil pan and seeing how screwed I am on my new Beamer. Darn. Alright guys, so we got the brace off the two corner plastics. Only hiccup we ran into is this one seems a little strippy dippy. So we may go on with one less, I'm not too sure. That's our oil leak, considering this hasn't run for a very long time. I'm hoping it's not a rear main seal. It looks pretty dry in there. It looks like it could be running down from either side. So I'm assuming oil pan, but again, I need to take this off to check the sump, check the pickup, make sure we haven't eaten a belt. So either way we have to, rip this off. I have new bolts, new gaskets, so we're ready to go there. As far as we sit now, I just have a little more, I think I have to undo, we're kind of fumbling our way through this, but hopefully that's just coolant residue from the last fix I did. We're going to tear it apart a little more. I have to undo motor mounts, and then we can undo the subframe once I support the engine. And we're going to have to give it another quick blast before I disassemble to clean up some more of this grime I've unearthed. So that's a thing. The tensioner pulley should be smooth like this one. It has grooves of grease and oil, so you can actually wipe these away. That's how gross this is. So the belt, looks like they just put a new belt on as a quick fix to either sell it or limp it by, but more red flags, just the way I like it. So we're gonna clean those up, possibly replace them, make sure all the bearings are good in the pulleys. Up here we're gonna have to do a little more cleaning, hopefully make her look brand new like this. We're gonna have to plug all our charge piping and everything, make sure we don't get any water where we don't want it. And then we're almost there, so I'm gonna rip off some motor mounts off camera, do some cleaning, hopefully soonish. At this point, may as well replace the alternator, it doesn't look very good. But we're making progress, guys, so I'm gonna do some work off camera, hopefully catch up with you guys in a couple days here, and I'll have an update and we can start ripping an oil pan off. So I'll see you guys then. Hopefully I have good news. So we got this hook threaded in about, oh, I don't know, fraction of a turn. So I'm gonna crawl underneath now and just see what happens, I suppose. Undid the motor mounts. So now we get undo the subframe, droop it down, and then hope that neither the crane or the two threads fail and squeeze little loots. But
Squeeze little loots. It'll be like a nice real hug. Forever.
Oh, well, for my forever at least.
Yeah, for yours.
So let's see what happens, I suppose. So we've now got our subframe just wobbling around like a floppy gopher. I don't know why I'm using that word so much, or a series of words. So, using a crane. Using a crane's not ideal, because it's kind of...
What the hell was that?
I had some coffles. Don't embarrass me in front of my internet friends. So, using a jack to slowly lower the subframe so I don't get squeezed. Anyway, so using a jack to drop the subframe. That's pretty lame, it takes up a lot of room. Using an engine crane, which takes up even more room. Probably should take that wheel off. That's screwed in half a turn, so... No, but actually though. Oh, he's talking about something else. Thought I was having
Not everything's about you, sweetheart.
I wish it were. So the coolant leak I thought I fixed, turns out I'm a silly asshole and I didn't fix it, so gotta look at that. But more importantly, we got the wobbles. And now I can access my oil pan literally, barely, even measurably better than when this whole thing was bolted up. So, you know.
You have such a positive outlook though, Ray. Tell your viewers how you keep that up.
Yeah, it's a little victories. You should, it's a good thing we do time lapse a lot. Because keeping it PG is a little difficult sometimes. But we come out of it with a good sense of humor.
Something like that.
Something like that. So, I'm gonna start,
Dick who tightened the copper coat all the way. Now I'm covered in silver.
Hold on, let me, I don't know if you guys heard that, but it was me. Ow. I just scraped my little ear on this backing plate. That's pretty gnarly.
Get for doing the copper coat shit.
Wow, someone's...
Salty?
Yeah, we'll leave, that wasn't, yeah, we'll go with those words. So, bam. I can undo about 30 of these bolts now. I should drain the oil. I should drain the oil and then undo about 30 of these bolts now. Oh, I would have been so upset. And we're gonna hope that first off, the pickup's not filled up with an old serpentine belt. Second off, it's not actually the rear main leaking. First, there's not a window in the front main seal. And third, that's a lot of coolant. I can't stress enough, I thought I fixed this issue. So, you know, excellent things. I'm gonna rip this off camera because, you know, 30 bolts and half of them are in a pretty lame spot. Some are at the top apparently, so that's gonna be neat. It's an Easter egg hunt. But yeah, no, I should probably drain the oil so catch back up when there's actual progress and I find more awfully terrible things about my fantastic deal of a BMW 335 that clearly has not been in any accidents at all ever. So yes, good spirits. Okay, look over to see your fucking dump truck hanging out, Kyle. I'm glad I saw that.
It's like fucking when that beat dun dun dun.
Just watching the smoke billowing out of that poor little head. Anyway, we're over here in BMW world doing oil pan stuff. I'm not sure this for sure the issue. I can't pick it up.
Why did that one not tell you what that one did?
But if I can find a good crunch. Oh yeah, there we go. It's brittle. It's broken. It's no good. It's being replaced. So, oil pan, crunchy as hell, dirty as a nugget. So we're doing the old spritz and special with the brake clean. Just gonna be right as rain in no time. No engine's blowing up on us today.
Yes.
Most weeks it won't be running today, but anyway, under the car. Oh jeez. So it's actually pretty clean. Now that I'm throwing a light on it, it's actually not that clean. Oh, one side's very clean. The other side is, that's impressive. Some burnt on oil. I wouldn't have it any other way. And coolant making its comeback again. So I'm not seeing a whole lot of, what is that? What is that? That doesn't look good. Oh, it's not bad. Not sure how, but I do have to check the front main seal, considering I just pulled a giant chunk of belt out from behind the pulley, so it's definitely holding some goodies in there. Other than that, ow, it's not looking too bad. So gotta clean everything up nice and good. Slam her back together, and we're gonna hope that that fixes the oil leak. Ow. And we get wrestled the coolant leak again. Again. So, things are happening. Are things happening?
Well, kind of, I guess slowly, yeah.
Wow. Thanks for that. Things are happening. So, clean her up off camera and slam it together. It's getting cold in the shade where it's wet. I'm laying in puddles. Slam it together. Hopefully get it supporting itself in an hour. Good joke. I know. So we did some looking. That's sick. I just dropped oil right on my camera here. So no rubber or belt inside of the pickup, which is good. Bottom side's kind of clean, kind of gnarly. I'll take that as a win. Got to clean her up before I put the oil pan on. And that's when I noticed the bad. Somewhere up here. Oh. That. That is bits of front main or serpentine belts, so that's pretty sick. So looks like I gotta do a front main on this as well. I didn't shit a belt through my entire bottom end, so it's the little things. However, that could be also why I'm leaking oil. So, you know. So I'm gonna button on the oil pan so I can at least put it down on the subframe and I'm not gonna get crushed, and then I will deal with that, I guess, on another day. So, quick update. That's good and bad. Got our new gasket. And our pan is cleaning currently, or drying. It's looking pretty clean. So, pan, gasket, car, together and gone. Yes.